Hey, Gemini, Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here. Excited to bring in your December 2025 monthly reading. All right, let's open up your energy field, Gem, and take a look at what the month ahead has in store for you. Bottom of the deck, you have Soul Tribe. Beautiful energy here of social gatherings, friendships, celebration, shared harmony, and connecting with the people that you care about, the people that you love. I'm also getting a message here of a loved one in the spirit realm may not be with you this holiday season, but I feel like they are very much making their presence known. If this is a difficult time of year for you because this individual is no longer in your world, or if you feel like you do not have the support that you wish you did, it feels like you may be connecting to a community of individuals. Maybe you're volunteering or spending time with others that may even show up unexpectedly. It could be a gift from spirit of connection. So I love Soul Tribe coming through because this is a sense of belonging, and that's what we all ultimately want, right? We want to feel accepted. We want to feel loved. We want to feel like we belong, and that's what's coming through here for you this month. Now, you also have here spiritual toolbox, strength, and intuition. Now, you are someone who is very intuitive. I feel like you have intuitive gifts that sometimes you may doubt or second guess, but you also have the gift of prophecy. Some of you have prophetic dreams. You may be able to read a room or pick up on the energy of others. I'm also getting here a channeler, a medium, a healer. You are very gifted, and you could use these gifts in your professional world. And I certainly feel like you have been using these gifts on your healing journey, on your healing path. And other people may come to you and ask for guidance and ask for support as well. Now, strength tells me, Gemini, that you've had to persevere, that your confidence has been tested. Your intuition here at times has been doubted because fear can creep in when we're going through challenging times. I see that this month you are using the tools that you have acquired in the past to help you overcome any negativity, struggles, or challenges. So diving in here, intuition is that voice within, right? That subtle inner voice that guides us and lets us know what we need to know. But sometimes when the mind is busy or fear is loud, it can suffocate our intuition. But I feel for you, because you have spiritual toolbox and because you have these resources, you are seeing through any sort of illusions. Now, I say illusions because you have the devil at the bottom of the deck. This is about temptations. It can be addictions or attachments, and it can even be giving away our power due to fears, right? It can be the fear feeding into it, but not this year, not you. You have done the shadow work, Gemini. You have freed yourself in a way where you can recognize when the devil is trying to creep into your life because it's at the bottom of the deck, which means that sometimes this can be sneaky. Sometimes this can be old feelings around doubt or insecurities or anger, resentments, and it's okay to have those feelings show up because that's part of the human experience. Oftentimes we feel like we shouldn't be feeling certain ways, but it's what you do with those feelings. Are you numbing them to the point of addiction, right? Are you repressing them to the point where you're not channeling that energy into something creative or healthy? Are you holding it in where you are feeling silenced? or it's causing you to have physical symptoms. And I see that you have learned how to work with some of these challenges or heavier energies. So spiritual toolbox tells me you may even be learning or acquiring some new skills this month. I'm getting exploring new skill building areas. So this could be a month where you are curious about trying out a new skill that's actually going to enhance your spiritual gifts. So for example, if you have wanted to learn how to meditate, if you wanted to learn how to do breath work, perhaps yoga or energy work, or maybe working with astrology, numerology, human design, oracle, tarot, whatever tools that you are leaning into or even enhancing. Maybe it's a tool that you are already familiar with, but you haven't taken it out of your spiritual toolbox for quite some time. I feel like you do this month. And you are also connecting with not only a loved one in spirit, but I feel your guides. And for some of you, you're connecting more with your personal guardian angel. Now, this isn't something that gets talked about too much. At least it's not something that I hear often, but we all have a personal guardian angel. And I just went on a beautiful cruise a couple months back with Radley Valentine and Dougal Fraser, some of the most beautiful spiritual leaders in the industry. And it really got brought to my attention that guardian angels are such a significant part of our lives, but we often focus on other energies, right? Our spirit guides or our, loved ones in spirit. So you may be connecting with angelic vibes, specifically your own. And I also see here the star at the top of a tree. Now, some of you could have a star. Some of you may have an angel if you celebrate the holidays. But the fact that I'm seeing the star represents the star in tarot, which is reminding you to never give up on your dreams, never give up on your hopes. The star is a sense of purpose. It is reminding you that there's a brighter future ahead. And I feel like that's what your spiritual tools are also helping you understand, helping you realize that there is a brighter future coming in. If you've gone through a heavier year, if you have had a lot of highs and lows throughout 2025 and maybe even since 2023, I'm getting the last few years for a lot of you. It feels like the world has shifted since 2020, right? But you are persevering and you are demonstrating true grit because you have showed determination and perseverance even during those uphill battles. And I feel like you have felt exhausted at times, right? You have felt like I don't have anything else to give, but you are showing up. You're still here today. And I feel like there's a turn coming through. You are leaving behind an old lifestyle, an old version of yourself, old fears or doubts. You're pushing through. And I also see that there could be a very important download, message, invitation, or offer or blessing that shows up for you here in the near future. And this is heaven sent. That's the word I'm getting, heaven sent. Intuition is coming in strong here for you. So trust in that inner voice and trust that there are beautiful blessings unfolding for you, even if you can't quite see them. And I'm also getting you exploring your dreams or during your dream state. Some of you may be astral traveling, or perhaps you are experiencing different levels of consciousness, such as hypnotherapy or like guided meditations that are helping you open up more. I'm getting lucid dreaming. I feel like you are playing with like time travel or playing with potential timelines here. So expanding consciousness through different modalities, especially with that spiritual toolbox. So let me know, drop it in the comment section. Are you astral traveling? Are you doing more lucid dreaming? Are you thinking about hypnotherapy or taking a look at your maybe REM sleep. Some of you may have struggled with sleep, and there could be some deep psychic surgery happening during your sleep state. Now, moving into the tarot here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Pentacles shows up as a materialization of success. This is a new project for you, Gemini. This could be a new relationship or a career. Most of the time, it's a financial reward. It's something that you can physically see, and it's in your material world. It has to do with your practical matters, but I'm also getting like a bonus or an inheritance or a gift or even a raise. Something here is showing up, materializing in your world that is built on solid footing, built on a solid foundation. And I am being shown, this is interesting, I am being shown a chicken coop, and someone is reaching in, gathering the eggs. I mean, some of you could have a small hobby farm, but I feel like this is symbolic for reaching for an opportunity now that the time is right, right? You can't reach in and gather eggs if they haven't been laid. So it feels like there's been a training process or a prepping process that you've had to go through, but now is the time where you get to reach in and grab that egg. And I feel like you're being gentle, because when you think of eggs, one fall of the egg, they're going to crack. And it feels like you have multiple eggs. It's not just one that I'm seeing gathered here. It feels like many. So it feels like you are reaching for something. You're being gentle with yourself. I see compassion and kindness of how you're treating these new opportunities that are coming through. Now, this Ace of Pentacles also represents releasing scarcity, releasing the fear around something being unstable or something that feels shaky. Even if it does feel that way, even if some of those fears are creeping up, remember, it's okay to have some of these scary or challenging emotions, but it's what we do with them. Are we going to let those emotions stay repressed, keeping us in analysis paralysis? Are we going to reach into the chicken coop feeling like the chicken is going to peck our hand? Or are we going to go in for our shot, right? And I feel like you are going to show up shaking, even if something scares you, because you want this opportunity. And I feel like you're meeting the universe halfway, and you will be met with pleasant success. Now, you have the Queen of Cups showing up here. And look at the word at the bottom, intuition. So you have that coming through multiple times here in your reading. So trust in your inner voice. When the Queen of Cups shows up, this is either your energy or someone that you are attracting into your world. This could even be the loved one in spirit that's coming through, maybe a mother-like figure or someone who had really made a powerful impact in your life. But she is a genuine, beautiful, divine feminine energy who is very nurturing. She's emotionally mature. She's an intuitive. She's a healer. She's empathic. And she may even be in the caring profession. You may be in the caring profession. But one thing about the Queen of Cups, it is important to take care of yourself, to fill your own cup first, because sometimes the Queen of Cups, she gives so much to others that she may neglect some of her own well-being, some of her own needs as well. And I feel like the message here is saying you're not doing that anymore. You are balancing up your real world obligations, but also tending to your own emotional needs, because your needs matter. Next, we have the Knight of Swords. There's that determination that I was picking up on earlier. So even though there's been some uphill battles when that devil wants to sneak its little face into your world, right? That devil can be anything that tries to throw you off track. And if you look at the Knight of Swords, this woman is on literally a track. She is going around here. Her determination, her momentum, her motivation is picking up. You don't just go stand at the start of, a track line ready to go. You train for it, right? You practice it. And I feel like you've been practicing, you've been training, and you're ready to hit the ground running, quite literally for some of you. I mean, maybe there's also, I'm getting a parade. Okay, I know it's the time of year for many people, like holiday or Christmas parades, but I am getting a parade showing up. So if that is something you are attending, maybe it's something that you do with your family, random, but that came in as I'm looking at this card. But the Knight of Swords is a messenger here of intellectual sharpness. You are someone who is being guided to take a calculated risk and to balance your impulsiveness with thoughtful action. Because sometimes we have these ideas, right? And we want to hit the ground running before we are fully prepared. And I feel like you are. So use that intellectuality that you thrive off of as an air sign and execute and charge forward with determination. Because it is important. I always say it's important to say what you mean what you say, right? Walk the walk, talk the talk, and stay consistent. And if that has been a struggle, it feels like you have that extra intuitive push or spiritual assistance that is helping you go all the way. And that's where you have the Ace of Pentacles here, because this is leading you towards the materialization of something in the physical material world. Next, you have another ace showing up here, the Ace of Wands. I love the Ace of Wands because it is the seed of creativity. This is a high-spirited energy. It's all about evolution here, where you're feeling like you have a new sense of purpose. You're feeling that passion and that desire and that Sagittarian fire within that is allowing you to feel quite productive. You are feeling like you are the innovator this month instead of that low energy that sometimes we tend to feel or we can get in creative blocks. I feel like this Sag energy that's coming through at this time, it's through the end of December, right? November 23rd or so through the end of December is really amping up your motivation, and it is sparking something deep within you. Your creativity may feel heightened because the wands represents the spiritual spark behind our purpose. And because you literally have this spiritual toolbox here with intuition showing up multiple times, it's like trying to start a fire with a box of matches. And every time you go to strike that match, it's a dud. And you are like, I'm down to one match, Mel. Like, I got to make this count. I have only one left. And you strike it and it takes flame and you're able to light that fire. That's the energy that I'm getting here for you this month. Now, we have the Nine of Wands. Oh, I love this. Remember how I said you are persevering even during uphill battles? That's the Nine of Wands, right? And sometimes it can feel like you've hit a bit of a brick wall. Just like striking those matches and coming up with duds every time when you just want to warm up, right? You're cold, you've been shaking, you've been in the freezing energy of some sort of challenge or struggle or the devil. The devil has kept you cold here in some way where spirit is saying, let's warm you up. And you're like, I'm trying, right? I'm using all of the tools. I'm trying to light this match. It's just not working. So some of you may have felt very frustrated using spiritual tools. And you're like, Mel, I've tried the yoga. I've tried somatic healing. I've tried this. I've tried that, but it feels like it hasn't been working because sometimes we are forced to go through a pause. It's like an app on your phone that stops working and you have to manually go in and like force stop it. Sometimes that shows up in our lives to have us stopping, and instead of pushing forward through that grit, even though I see that you have, but it has us just pausing for a moment to recalibrate, to take a look at our nervous system, to reset the nervous system in a different way. And even though it's very frustrating because you've been trying to maybe use all of the tools, this is the breakthrough month where all of that hard work, all of the energy, all of the time that you've poured into your healing, your health, your well-being, this is where you see it kind of coming up to a culmination period. It's the final month of 2025. This is a 9 energy. 9s are about completion. We are also in a 9 year. 2025 breaks down to a 9. And what do we move into in 2026? The 1s, which you have 2 here in your reading. You are departing. You have the 6 of Swords showing up. This is leaving behind a complicated situation in order to recover, in order to find stability here. Calmer waters lead you forward, and you have gone through a period of resistance, right? Or well, you have resistance here with the 9 of Wands, or again, it's felt like you've been trying to strike that match to get no fire lit up when you're cold. And this is the month where it's finally here. This is a new job offer. If you have felt like you have been left out, some of you, if you come to this reading unemployed, or if there's been a lot of financial stressors or entanglements, if this is a relationship, whatever this devil represents, whatever level of toxicity, headache, fears that have really made an impact, right? It's kind of stolen your power, as I've mentioned. You're moving away from it. And even though it's still here, it's still trying to somewhat make its presence known. You're like, I see you. No more hiding. And that's why the face, this devil in this deck always gets me, because his face looks like it's something out of a creepy movie. But it's not hidden. It is out there in the open so you can see it. And so something is finally out in the open for you, and you are consciously aware of this energy pulling you back into this spiral, into this loop. And you're saying, I'm out of it, right? I'm moving away from it. You may even be traveling. Perhaps you're departing, you're leaving behind an old circumstance, an old situation, an old pattern, an old home, whatever this may be for you. I feel like you're ready, and you actually have the little bird. We talked about the eggs, and granted, that's not a chicken, but I see that you're ready to soar. You're ready to, embrace that opportunity, that egg, right? You are excited here to crack open a new emotional experience, a new spiritual experience. And that's exactly what the 6 of Swords is bringing in. It reminds me of the saying, what if I fall? But oh, darling, what if I fly? So instead of focusing on falling, the bird here has a leaf in its mouth, because the leaf represents growth, right? The leaf represents new beginnings. It's a green leaf here, so it's full of possibility. And I feel like you are getting ready to soar into 2026, a new year ahead for you. All right, let's look at career, finances, money. You have the moon here. So the moon energy is the space between madness and genius, right? It's illusions. It's the devil that causes us to feel like we're going crazy. I mean, you've heard the saying lunatic actually comes from lunar cycles. The lunacy of that moon can make us feel like we're going crazy, right? So it can bring about subconscious energies to the surface, shadows, things that are hidden from our view. And the fact that you have the devil here tells me that yes, there may be anxiety showing up, but you're moving towards calmer waters, especially I feel in Sagittarius season, but moving into perhaps Capricorn season, because we have that Sag fiery energy coming in. That's the spark of the match, but it feels like something fully gets ignited. That warmth, that fire may come during Cap season here, which is the end of December into the end of January. So the moon can be, again, uncertainties, and you may have noticed your funds. Maybe there was more money coming in going out than coming in, but you're being guided by an unknown source, perhaps your own guardian angel. And I'm also getting here a message of someone has connected with their guardian angel in this lifetime multiple times, but I feel like there may have been a specific event where you are lucky to be alive. for some of you, lucky to be alive. So maybe you've gone through a near-death experience or you've gone through an illness. There's been a miracle. But I feel like you're also opening yourself up more to your own intuitive gifts than maybe you ever have, because you've always had access, right? We all have gifts, but it's how we use them, how we honor them. And I feel like you're opening up to something deep within you. And pay attention to these moon cycles. Instead of feeling like you're going crazy, honor them. Work with the moon. Work with your crystals. Work with your spiritual tools around, those lunar cycles, whether it's the new moon, the full moon. This can be an odd job. Some of you may be bringing in multiple income sources, but it could be from seasonal work I'm getting for some of you. So for example, let's say you live in a place that has pine trees and people celebrate Christmas. Maybe you are making wreaths and you're selling those wreaths at this time of year. And maybe it's only, done during the holiday season, but you're making a little extra cash on the side. It feels like some of you may have like a side gig going on. Maybe you are filling out surveys or doing some Uber driving or delivering groceries. It feels like something here could be showing up that you are participating in, or maybe you are using one of these seasonal services at this time to make your life easier. Next, you have the Face card. This is about your money skills, right? Taking a risk. Hello, Knight of Swords. This is face value, putting yourself out there in some way. And it is the energy of recognition. So you could be getting recognized by your gifts, by your goods, your services. Sometimes this can be stepping into the spotlight. So you may be moving into an energy here where you are being exposed, and that could certainly cause some deep-seated fears to arise, right? The fear of judgment, the fear of criticism, the fear of failure, right? The fear of, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm an imposter, right? All of those fears that are normal, that tend to show up, but it's, again, what we do with them. And I feel like you are equipped with the tools to help you push through some of these insecurities, some of those old stories that may be trying to creep up in your life, especially around career, because you are ready to say yes. You are ready to start fresh, even if it feels a little bit unknown, even if you're not quite sure what this looks like. You are hitting the ground running. You've been planning and you've been preparing for that marathon here. And so I feel like it's time for you to lace up your shoes, right? It's time for you to stand at that start line, and you're getting that ball rolling, moving into the new year. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because what are you moving into? Comfort. And this is the phase or period between the old comfort zone brushing up against new growth. And that's where it's uncomfortable, right? Because we are used to what we are used to. We like what we like, even if it doesn't always feel comfortable. But when we are guided to grow or expand, when we feel sometimes stuck, that's when we're on the biggest cusp of a breakthrough in our lives. And you are moving into the most comfortable period of your life, meaning this is the type of comfort that feels luxurious, that feels good. Like it feels like it's a warm hug to your nervous system. That's what I'm thinking about when I see this beautiful cat. And I don't know why, I was just seeing a Maine Coon. I mean, that's not a Maine Coon, but some of you may have like a Maine Coon cat, or a very beautiful cat with specific features is what I'm getting here. But it says here, you are entering the most comfortable period of your life. Though you're not exactly rich, you will be living comfortably. So this tells me that you could be paying off debt, and finally you're like, phew, this is what I've been wanting. I've been wanting to feel like I wasn't always struggling to make ends meet, or I was living in a nervous system activation where I felt like I was surviving, not thriving. This is thriving here. I mean, look at this cat laying on its back, living its best life. But in order to get to this, we have to push up against an old comfort zone that's not exactly healthy with this devil, in order to get to something that does feel more luxurious. so you can allow yourself to rest and digest. Your finances are in a state of balance. That's what you're moving into. You are departing and leaving behind some of your old financial woes and worries around your career or your money. So this next chapter, I would say the next era of your life even, perhaps the first half of your life has been very difficult, very stressful regarding career. I'm getting the last 12 years even. You've built up a reputation. You've built up your skill sets, your portfolio, your reputation, and you're moving forward here in the next 6 to 12 months even. I mean, yes, there's changes coming in now, but it feels like you're really hitting a peak momentum period in your finances here in the next 6 to 12 months. So let's look at love, family, relationships. Ooh, okay. We have someone either married or engaged, or you could be connecting. You have double aces here. So there's the spark, right? There's the seed of potential with that Ace of Wands, that fiery energy, the flirtation, the passion, the spiritual bond and connection that has the sticking power with that Ace of Pentacles as well. So you certainly could be meeting someone in the near future, if you haven't already, where you take it all the way, right? There's this level of determination. No matter what comes through, the both of you can work through this energy together. If you're both on the same page, willing to show up with love, with compassion, with kindness, with understanding, I feel like you can go all the way, right? So wedding rings represents unions and marriage, soul contracts, soul connections, everlasting love and devotion. And I feel like someone, perhaps if you are married, you may have had a spouse, or perhaps you were the spouse who, for better or for worse, it feels like you may have gotten ill, or you may have gone through something very challenging, and this spouse has been there for you, or they may show up for you in ways that you never thought possible. So I feel like for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, that's coming up here for you. And if you are engaged, maybe you're getting married this month, or you are excited to move forward. I'm also getting a very specific message for a few of you. This is not going to resonate with everyone, but you could have met someone, or you're about to meet someone, and it could go quickly here. But don't let outsiders interfere with your connection. Now, of course, pay attention to red flags. I feel like you are. I don't see an energy of naivety here, but when you know, you know. And yes, sometimes you can meet somebody and get married 6 months later, or, it can grow. It can be a very fast developing relationship, and that's okay. Yes, it's okay also to take our time, but if you have something that is fast paced, but the root of the energy is love, it's spiritual connection. If you've known this person before, you probably have a soul, reunion with them, where you've had a past life with them. And don't let any naysayers tell you otherwise. All right. Because we also have the runner showing up, and how interesting, because this is another kind of story woven in for some of you. You have the runner with the Knight of Swords. Some of you may want to run away from a situation because you want new love. If you are in something that's unhealthy, if it has become a bond or an attachment that you feel tethered to and tied to, and there's no growth, there's no love, there's no compassion, you are moving away from that. I see that you are making a different choice. And for some of you, if this is someone else that's running away from a union and there is love, it could be because there's fear of intimacy. It could be that something has become very intense very quickly, and maybe that individual is scared and maybe they want to let go here. But I do see that if anything is unhealthy, if it is abusive, if it is toxic, if it is based on addictions, that calls for really re-examining and asking for support, asking for help to get out of tumultuous times. And that's where that Six of Swords comes in. Oftentimes on the Six of Swords, you will see a mother and a child with someone helping her get out of a situation. So I see a couple of scenarios playing out for you. And then lastly, we have key on a ring. So you have options here. And if you are wanting to attract love, this is the perfect season to open your heart to inviting more love in. And it starts with self-love, right? It starts with that connection with spirit and trusting in the flow, trusting in the process. But I also see that embarking upon a path where you're able to invite love in by spending time with your family, spending time with community, spending time focusing on activities that you love, looking at yourself in the mirror each and every day and saying, I love you, right? I love you. We're in this together. We are calling in and manifesting someone here who is going to honor us, who's going to love us, who's going to respect us, who's going to trust us. And because that is what you are bringing to the table, that's what you are attracting. So key on a ring. If you are feeling like something has been back and forth, maybe inconsistent, what did I say earlier? Walk the walk, talk the talk, right? If someone has been all talk, but they haven't been taking action, I feel like there is a departure, maybe a bye-bye, right? You are saying, I don't want to be strung along. I want something deeper. I want this type of commitment here. I want to build something on solid ground. So you are really taking a look at your values this month, and you're using that spiritual and intuitive awareness to help lead you, to help guide you, even though the devil is here, right? Because the devil spelled backwards is lived. We are all living this human experience, which means each and every one of us will come into contact with the devil, possibly daily, for sure weekly, for sure monthly, yearly, right? This devil is always creeping up, but it kind of reminds me of that wolf scenario. Like, which wolf do you feed? You have two wolves, the black and the white one, sitting on your shoulder. And I see that, you can feed into this if you want, right? Because the devil is the limitations that restrict us, that attach us, that bond us. But we also have the spiritual tools to break the chain. Now let's look at your health. Energetic health, that certainly could manifest into physical symptoms. So if need be, please seek out a professional guidance, professional doctor. You have the third chakra, which is the solar plexus, and you have the third eye chakra. Now, the third eye chakra brings in wisdom and discernment. The message for you is this: I am open to understanding the spiritual truths behind the situations occurring in my life now. I offer my wisdom to assist others along their path. I trust in a higher source to guide me and to help others who ask for my guidance. I practice discernment and listen deeply within for the truth. I choose to respond to rather than just reacting to situations, acting with clarity, courage, and conviction. That's beautiful. The third eye chakra located between your eyes, your forehead region, right above. And I see here the Knight of Swords coming through. And we talked about that Knight of Swords balancing impulsiveness with thoughtful action. And that's exactly what your third eye is reminding you. Use your wisdom and discernment as you take action here. And lastly, the solar plexus chakra, our belly region. This is our bright yellow center. It says here, oneness and unity. I accept the oneness of all life, and I know I am one with all others on this journey. There's your soul tribe. I support them and let them support me. I am brave and I'm not afraid to ask for assistance. Six of Swords. I allow myself to empathize and sympathize with others, and I choose to see the love in all around me. I see everything as part of my own life, and I accept others for who they are. I find common ground with others rather than differences, as this brings harmony into my life and into theirs. And I'm holding up Soul Tribe here because sometimes it feels like we are separate from. We are disconnected, we're isolated, we're lonely. And that's where that solar plexus comes in, bringing us that one love. right? Maybe turn on some Bob Marley, jam to One Love, and really get in the beat. Some of you may even benefit from drumming. If you've heard of drumming, you can find it online, find it on YouTube. That can bring back that like harmonic rhythm that can help reset the nervous system. I love drumming. I'm also a drummer. I played percussion as a child. And so drumming naturally soothes my nervous system, but I feel like that is also a somatic tool if you have been in that survival mode. So lastly, you have the Queen showing up here. We have the Queen of Cups. So let's dive in here and take a look at this archetype. All right, Gemini, the Queen is the Empress, the Mother Queen, the Sovereign. Like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens. Didn't that come through earlier? We said something about the heavens, like a gift from the gods, was it? Grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty, contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. If the king is the ego, the queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. Wow, this is your entire reading wrapped up into one. I love it. I absolutely see the synchronicities, the blending of all of your themes, the Queen of Cups, the determination, the fiery spiritual passion, the departure, right? It's all coming through, even with the Devil. When this is showing up as the light aspect, this is the embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, and stillness. When it's showing up as the dark, here's that devil trying to creep in. It's self-righteous. It's demanding, wrathful, vain, moody, right? So the queen does not accept the hand of a prince, which is interesting because we do have a knight here, which often can represent the prince. So I'm just going to share this section with you for those of you that may be in a little bit of a love triangle, or maybe not triangle, but a love entanglement. Maybe that's a better word. The queen does not accept the hand of a prince, but claims the throne, knowing the king draws near. She is a magnet for the fully embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. All right. If you want to, read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. Then read about Inanna, Tara, and Hera if you want to go deeper into this energy. And also it mentions Nikki Giovanni's ego tripping, or Nina Simone's Singing the Stars at the Jazz Festival in 1976. If this reading resonates with you, if you want to explore more of this, if you're like, Mel, I like it, but you can dive in, check out those resources as well. That is what I have for you, Gemini. It is an empowering month. I really enjoyed your reading today. I know that you are someone who is here to help break out of patterns that you have faced yourself, and you're here to uplift and help others in some way, but not by losing yourself in that service, not at your own expense. It feels like you are getting in the flow of helping yourself first, so your cup is filled where then you can overpour. Then you can pour out into others. Don't neglect yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. That is what I have for you, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here today. If you enjoyed the reading, please help out the channel. Give it a thumbs up. Feel free to send this to another Gemini in your life or someone who may have strong gem placements. And thank you again for being here. Lots of love.